So everybody welcome to today's class. We will be doing the Harappan civilization. So we'll start it. First we need to know what civilization actually means. So civilization, it comes from the Latin word civis, which means someone who lives in a town. So civilization basically means the way we live in a society and how we perform our everyday functions, okay, while living there, by following the laws, the rules and the regulations, the way we get our food, the way we protect the people. So it basically means living, the way of living in a particular society or a town or a city or wherever. Now the features of the civilization. So the features of the civilization are like, there is like development of the cities, then there is like production of the food, which in the quantity, like which is enough for everybody, and like it, even like there is more than what is needed, the production is more than what is actually needed. So it is, then there is like the division of labor, which means like dividing the work among different groups as per the skill and efficiency, like the laborers, the cleaners, the teachers, the like workers, everybody. Then there is like the system of writing, the way we express our thoughts and ideas, and we communicate with each other, communication. Then there are public buildings, and also there's a development of technology. Next is the Bronze Age civilization. So the two pots you see here is the made of bronze. Okay, so this is the bronze. So why it was Harappan civilization called the Bronze Age civilization? So man learned the art of mixing copper with tin or zinc to produce the alloy called bronze. So when two or more metals are mixed, the byproduct is called an alloy. So when tin or zinc was mixed with copper, then they made a new metal that was known as bronze. Okay, so bronze, what happened was like bronze was very like flexible, and it was like suitable to make weapons, tools, or anything they wanted, as compared to copper or other metals. It was easier to make the metals in bronze. So that is why what happened was that during that age, importance of bronze grew tremendously. People started using more of it because it was like easier to make weapons and tools and utensils or anything they wanted with the help of bronze. So that is why, as its importance was like grew tremendously during that civilization. So that is why it is also known as the Bronze Age civilization. So by 2500 BC, there were like 4 Bronze Age civilizations. There were the Harappan civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, the Chinese civilization, and the Egyptian civilization. Next, we have what does Harappan civilization actually is, and how old is it? So Harappa is known to be a 4700 years old city, which was discovered around the time 1920. Alright, so up to this time, up till the Harappan civilization was discovered, people thought that the origin of Indian history, like it originated or it started with the arrival of the Aryans. But when the Harappan civilization was discovered in the town of Harappa, then they started to change their mind, and they thought, oh no, it's not the advent of the Aryans, but the civilization and the history of India, it started way before them, and it was like the Harappan civilization actually, and it was like one of the oldest civilizations of the world. And previously, like the Harappan civilization was known as the Indus Valley civilization. So and later on came to be known as Harappan civilizations. We'll know the reason why. So previously, like Mohenjo-daro was on the banks of the rivers Indus, and Harappa was on the banks of the river Ravi. So because of the presence of the river Indus, it was known as Indus Valley civilization. But later on, when the archaeologists, they excavated, means like dug the ground, and like discovered many precious objects from the ground. So that happened in the town called Harappa. All right, so that is why it came to be known as the Harappan civilization. Next we have the sources. So obviously it is like it goes back to 4700 years old civilization, so obviously people of historians or people of that age is like impossible to be present in the current age. So how do we know about them? So all right, so how do the people they know about the civilization? So the sources. Okay, so those are the sources. So we'll see what are the sources here. It's a great bath, the citadel, seals, bearded man, dancing girl, dockyard, and script. Now we'll talk about the sources one by one. So first is the great bath. So this whole structure here is the great bath. Alright. So great bath at Mohenjo-daro is a very huge structure. It denotes that the art of the building had reached a high degree of perfection. It denotes the existence of ruling class which built such huge structures for the public. It might have been used for religious purposes too. It showed advanced planning with features like water supply and drainage. Burnt bricks and gypsum mortar were used to build it, which made it waterproof. Alright, so gypsum mortar is the plaster Paris. Next is the citadel. So this here is the citadel. The raised area of each city was called as the citadel. The area was raised with the help of mud and brick platforms. It was like higher than the normal ground level. The ruling class had their houses in this area along with other important buildings like the Great Bath, granary where grains were stored, assembly hall where people assembled for the meetings and important announcement, and the workshops. It denotes advanced planning. We can call it an urban civilization also. Next we have the seals. So these are the seals. Okay, the seals were rectangular, square or circular objects used by traders to stamp their goods. The features of the seals were like there were 2000 seals had been discovered. It comprised a one-horned bull, buffalo, tiger, goat, elephant and rhinoceros. From the figures on the seals we came to know about the dress, ornaments, hairstyles, animals, trade, commerce, and also about their scripts. And there was like Pashupati seal and the unicorn seal. Pashupati seal, it showed they believed in Lord Shiva, and the unicorn seal showed their mythical belief, which means they believed in myths rather than the facts. Next we have the bearded man. So the structure is of the bearded man. The artistic statue of man with beard was discovered from Mohenjo-daro. Its features it has a shawl worn over the left shoulder. So you can see this is a shawl which is worn over the left shoulder. Alright. Eyes are half closed, hence called as the statue of Yogi. It's made of limestone and is 17.5 centimeters in height. Next we have the dancing girl. So this figure is of a dancing girl. The bronze statue of a dancing girl was found at Mohenjo-daro. It showed the highest form of art and sculpture. Its features are the right hand of the dancing girl rests on its hips. So you can see this. This is the right hand and it is resting on her hips. Her hair is neatly fashioned in the form of a bun. Her hair is tilted slightly backward. The left hand is heavily bangled, which means like it is full of bangles, holding a small bowl against her left leg. So see, left hand. You can see the bangles here. See, so many bangles. And this is a bowl. Next we have the dockyard. So this whole structure, this is the dockyard. So a rectangular seaport or dock was discovered at Lothal in Gujarat. The features of the dockyard are it was surrounded by a huge brick wall to protect it from the floods. It's made of baked bricks. It was an important seaport of Indus Valley civilization for carrying out overseas trade. So this was like near the Indus River. So what happened is like during that time the air transport and the road transport wasn't discovered or invented yet, right? So it was like mostly in the ships, the water transport. So as it was in this river was there, so it was through that river that the trade and the business, import and export of the goods from one place to another took place. So that is why this dockyard or the seaport was built near the Indus River. The next is the scripts. So these are the various scripts you can see here. The figure. These are all the scripts. Harappan used a pictographic script with signs representing birds, fish, and humans. Right. So you can see here the different figures. So 375 to 400 numbers of Harappan scripts were found. Scripts were inscribed on seals or copper tools, rims of the jar, copper and terracotta tablets, which means like tiles, jewelry, and ancient signboard. In some cases written from right to left, and in some it was from left to right. Next we have the origin of the civilization. So how did the civilization like really start? So like it hasn't been confirmed yet, like how did it really start. So it has been divided into two categories: the foreign origin and the indigenous origin. So some of the historians who believed that it was from the foreign origin, meaning that the group of people the foreign land, they migrated to the banks of river Indus and started their civilization. Alright, and where the researchers of the indigenous origin, they believe that it was not of the migrated foreign people, but it very much started in India, and which was only an outgrowth of the extensive local village cultures of India. So that village culture, it expanded and extended, and thus it became the civilization. So that was it. Next we have the extent. So like how big is the civilization? So entire area of Harappa is triangular in shape, and it has a total area of 12,99,600 square kilometer. So you can see the brown part here. So this is the Harappan civilization. So it extends from Sitkagen Dor in Balochistan. See here, it extends from here. This is the Sitkagen Dor in Balochistan, in west to Amalgirpur in Uttar Pradesh in east, and Manda Jammu in north to Bhagatrav in south. So this was the whole of the extent of the civilization. Next is urban planning. How did they plan the cities and the towns? So there were like 6 Harappan cities. It was Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Chanudaro, Lothal, Kalibangan, and Banawali. And here Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, like it was linked by river Indus, right? So Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and they were the 2 important cities. So that is why it is called the Indus Valley Civilization as well. So characteristics of the town planning. How did they plan the town? So each city was divided into 2 parts: citadel and the lower town. They followed the grid pattern. Houses at the streets were rounded to allow carts to pass easily, and every house emptied their water waste into street drains. And at regular it had manholes, which means like in the drains they had like holes where a man or the cleaners could go inside and inspect if anything is wrong in the drain, and they can clean and inspect it. Alright, then houses. So the residential buildings were built on high mount to protect them from floods. So it was like higher than the ground level so that the floods couldn't affect them. So houses were like it had lots of space, very big houses with rooms and bathrooms. Houses were either single or double storied with courtyard and a kitchen. Houses were made of wood and brick, and each house had like doors and windows which opened on the side of the street and not on the main roads. Then we have trade. How did the business happen during Harappan civilization? So there was the barter system. Then there was tools, kitchenware, other metal objects were produced in Mohenjo-daro, Lothal and Harappa. And Balakot and Chanudaro were centers of bangle making. And rice was important from Gujarat to Punjab, while Lothal and Surkatora provided cotton. Gold was imported from Karnataka and Afghanistan. Copper from Rajasthan, South India, Baluchistan and Arabia. And lead was imported from east or South India. Sorry. Now the art and craft. So art of carving. So in this, people were like very much, they were like perfect, and they excelled in art and craft. They were very talented and artistic people. So the figures of animals were carved, and it showed a high degree of perfection. There were various animals of the bull, buffalo, bison, and elephant. See here, this is the, what is this? A bull. This elephant. This is bison, I think, and this might be a buffalo. Then the art of painting. You can see the pots here and the painted, whatever they have painted. So they drew different figures of men, animal, birds, trees, and they painted geometrical patterns of colors. So these are the geometrical patterns here. These are the geometrical patterns. These are the figures. These are the figures. This was it. Next we have the art of pottery. So you can see here the different shapes, sizes and types of potteries here in this figure. So these are all the kinds of potteries they made. So Harappan potters made pottery various shapes and sizes and a pottery wheel. So pots for regular use were plain, and those used for preserving values were glazed and painted. So these were like glazed and painted, whereas these were the normal pots. Then the art of spinning. So they used to weave their own clothes. They spin this machines and weave their own clothes. So they were that talented and artistic people. So they had everything on their own. They produced their own clothes. They produced their own food. They produced their own household items, their own utensils. So they didn't have to depend on anybody. They were self-sufficient actually. Then the ornaments. So goldsmiths, they made gold, silver and precious stone jewelry articles like the necklaces. You can see how artistic and well made. See? The jewelry, the necklaces, the bracelets, the earrings and all. Such nice jewelries. They even made vessels of copper and bronze. Then the decline of the Harappan civilization. So we'll know like how did the Harappan civilization had a downfall. It declined and it like got washed away. How? So Harappan civilization declined around 1800 and BC. Some of the causes were floods and earthquakes. So heavy floods in Mohenjo-daro led to the abandonment of the settlement, which means the downfall. Earthquakes might have raised the level of the floodplains of the Indus River. So this uplift of the plains of the Indus, they blocked the passage of the river to the sea, and the rising water levels of the river, it led to the destruction of the lands. Then there is increased aridity. So aridity means drying up of land. You can see drought. So according to some historians, it is believed that the civilization declined because of the increasing dryness in the area due to drying up of the river Ghaggar, Satluj and Yamuna, as they were the main rivers that provided them with water. So when these rivers dried up, the whole land became dry, and thus it led to the decline of the whole civilization. Then we have deforestation. So what happened was like the Indus Valley civilization was like totally dependent on the bronze, so and wood, for their utensils, for whatever they needed, like for the pottery, jewelries, boats, furnitures, etc. So thus they had to cut down the trees to get what they needed, to make what they needed. So they needed more of it, and they started cutting down trees, which led to deforestation and the declining of the entire civilization. Then there was attack. Next was the attack. So what happened is like the Aryans, they it is believed that the Aryans had attacked the Indus settlements and they destroyed everything, and which led to the decline of the entire civilization. So here we come to the end of the chapter. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.